In this video, we are going to see how to integrate Metis with our application to prevent the bad code from reaching production. There are two things that we need to do in order to integrate Metis. First, we need to run Metis OpenTelemetry collector somewhere close to our application. This could be on the same host, in the same network subnet, generally somewhere where the OTel collector can reach the application and where it can reach our database. There is a great documentation page explaining how to integrate our application and how to run OpenTelemetry collector, but most of the times this comes down to using OpenTelemetry auto-instrumentation feature. So we basically need to run the OpenTelemetry Docker container, and then we need to integrate our application by using auto-instrumentation. Here I am using a sample JavaScript application where we can enable the auto-instrumentation just by running our application with a couple of additional environment variables. So you can see that I am extending my application to export all the traces to this following URL, which is basically a Metis OpenTelemetry collector running on the same host. So this is what you do in order to enrich your application so it sends the traces to OpenTelemetry collector provided by Metis. This way, you integrate your application with Metis, and you can now see the live queries as they go to the database, and you can get actionable insights. In order to integrate that with your CI/CD pipelines, you basically need to use a couple of things that can integrate with Metis. In this example, I am using GitHub Actions that can trigger all the tests when they are run in the pipeline on the pull request and analyze the schema migration. So the first action I am using is the action that tests the application on each pull request. So I do specify that I want to use the GitHub action provided by Metis, which is Metis data test collector, which creates the OpenTelemetry collector inside the GitHub actions. Then I specify how to run my application, and I also specify the environment variables so they can be used with the OpenTelemetry collector provided by Metis. So this action will analyze all the live queries that go to the database from my application. The other GitHub action I configure uses the Metis data SQL migrations validator that analyzes the schema migrations and provides actionable insights for each of the schemas. You can see that we need to specify which GitHub commits to use, and how to analyze those schema migrations and which key to use to comment on the pull request. I created a sample schema migration that Metis is supposed to analyze. When I pushed those things to production and created a pull request, you can see that Metis automatically commented on the pull request and analyzed both migration files and all the performance things. So if we now follow those links to Metis platform, we can see the first, it analyzed all the interactions with the database for all my tests that were executed in CI/CD pipeline. And it also analyzed the schema migrations that I executed that I want to execute when deploying to production. Metis analyzed both of those and commented on the pull request with all the actionable insights and findings that are important when reviewing the pull request. So this is how you can use Metis to prevent the bad code from reaching production. Metis captures your performance issues and your schema migration issues automatically. And all it takes to integrate Metis with your application is a couple of environment variables and a couple of YAML files for GitHub Actions. Obviously, if you use different languages or different CI/CD, then those solutions might be a little bit different, but the principle is exactly the same. Thank you for watching.